Okay, today we're going to talk about circumference. Circumference, and we're going to be finding radius and diameter. So, in the middle of page 699, circumference. Circumference is the distance around a circle. And there are two formulas that you can use to find the circumference of a circle. Circumference of a circle, big letter C, is equal to pi times the diameter. Okay? Pi times diameter. The little letter d, lowercase d, stands for diameter. Or you can use the formula for circumference, which is 2 times pi times the radius. Both of those work. And both of those work because yesterday we said that the diameter was equal to 2 times the radius. Okay? So really these are the same formula. Alright, if circumference equals pi times diameter, and the diameter equals 2 times the radius, then these formulas are the same as each other. But if you're given the radius of a circle, you can use the formula on the right. If you're given the diameter of a circle, you can use the formula on the left. So this is pretty simple stuff when you're finding the circumference. There's a couple practice problems there. It says find the circumference. Okay? And 4a down on the bottom of the page says that the radius equals 2.5, and you need to find the circumference, and it asks you to round to the nearest hundredth. Nearest hundredth, that's 2 decimal places. So if circumference equals pi times diameter, or circumference equals 2 times pi times the radius, when you're given the radius, circumference equals 2 times pi times the radius, which is 2.5. Now, when you're doing this, okay, use the pi button on your calculator. You all know what the pi button looks like, right? So in your calculator, type 2 times, push the pi button, times 2.5. So 2 times pi button times 2.5 and hit equals. And now, if you set your calculator to second fix 2, or set your calculator to around 2 decimal places, it'll do it for you. But in this case, did you guys get 15.71? 15.71. Okay, so there you go. There's your circumference rounded to the nearest hundredth. Alright? In the second example problem, it says find the circumference, and they tell you that the diameter is equal to 16. So if you're given the diameter of the circle, well then use the formula that's got the diameter in it. So now your circumference would be equal to pi times 16. So do the same thing. Use the pi button on your calculator. So just take pi and multiply it by 16. Hit equals. And if you round it to the nearest hundredth, it should be 50.27. Okay? Any problems with either one of those? Okay, yours says 16 pi. Bring it here real quick. Okay, so turn the page, please. Example 5, finding diameter and radius. Find the diameter and radius of a circle to the nearest hundredth for the circumference if the circumference of the circle is 106.4. So here's how this works. All right, so you're going to find the diameter. Find the diameter and radius. Okay, here's what's given. You're given that the circumference is equal to 106.4. Okay? If you know that the circumference is 106.4, and let's find the diameter first, because if you find the diameter, you can divide it by 2, and that'll give you the radius, right? So if circumference equals 106.4, and circumference also equals pi times diameter. Agreed? If two things are equal to the same thing, meaning the 106.4 equals c, and pi times diameter equals c, in that case, if two things are equal to the same thing, then they're equal to each other. What that means is that this 106.4 is equal to pi times the diameter. All right? It becomes a one-step problem. If you divide both sides by pi and divide by pi, and you're going to do this in your calculator, take the 106.4, divide it by pi, and just push the pi button, divide it by pi button, and hit equals. Do you get 33.868? Okay, so round that to the nearest hundredth. Let's see, what do they ask you for? To the nearest hundredth. So that's going to be 33.87. 33.87 is equal to the diameter. So while that's sitting in your calculator, the radius is half the diameter, isn't it? If the radius is half of the diameter, your diameter's in your calculator, just push divided by 2 and hit equals. So 16.934 would be 16.93 is equal to the radius. So there's your diameter and your radius if you're given the circumference. Does that make sense? Let's do one more. We're going to say find the lowercase d and r given big letter C is equal to 77.8. All right, so we're finding the diameter and the radius when the circumference equals 77.8. So if your circumference equals 77.8 and circumference equals pi times diameter, then your 77.8 equals pi times diameter. You divide both sides by pi. So 77.8 divided by pi button equals 24.765, so that's 24.77. So 24.77 is equal to the diameter. And if you take that value in your calculator and you divide it by 2, 12.38 is equal to the radius. Everybody all right with that? Anybody got any questions on finding the circumference or using the circumference to find the diameter and radius?
Wait, so to find the circumference, you just use the pi d or the 2 pi r?
Correct.
Okay. But they will always give you a value, correct? They'll always give, if you're finding
They have to give you a value
yeah, but they
in
can
order
just find circumference and then not give you the diameter, whatever, or radius.
They can.
How do we find it? How do you do that?
Okay, here, find the circumference of a circle. Right? And they don't give you any information. Well, circumference equals pi times the diameter. Right? That's what it equals. If they don't give you the diameter or the radius, then circumference equals pi times the diameter.
Oh, that's literally it.
Or circumference equals 2 pi r.
Oh.
Right? If they don't give you nothing, you don't give them nothing. You just give them the formula.
Okay.
If they don't give you any information and they ask you for the diameter, look right here. Circumference equals pi times diameter. If you divide both sides by pi, doesn't circumference divided by pi equal the diameter? There's your answer for the diameter if you're not given any information. If they give, same question, if they want the radius, well, if you divide both sides by 2 pi, then circumference divided by 2 pi equals the radius of any circle. All right? So if they give you a number, plug the number in. If they don't, that's what they get back. Any other questions? All right. Practice problems today are page 701, 7 and 8. And then over on the next page, (22 through 27). And on that pizza picture on page 702, that 16 that's in the middle of the pizza, in between all the pepperonis down there, that's the diameter. On page 702, there's a picture of a pizza up on top. See that little 16 right in the middle? That's the diameter. Okay?